Maayong adlaw. Akong mga higala. Ako si John Brady, taga California, USA nako. Pero di kaayo ko kabalo Bisaya. So I'll speak English if you don't mind. I am an engineer that works for a regional drinking water utility that provides safe drinking water to about 500,000 people. Today, I want to make sure that you have access to good information on how you can ensure that your drinking water is safe in the aftermath of Typhoon Odette. Please see the links below in my video description for links to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, known as FEMA, and the Center for Disease Control, known as CDC, for excellent references that you can use right now. The best source for drinking water during an emergency such as this is bottled water. If you have that option, you should use bottled water for drinking. If you do not have access to bottled water, then the techniques described in the FEMA video and CDC website are what you need to use. If you don't have access to bottled water, then the next best choice is from your local water utility. They may be delivering water to you by truck or through a fire hydrant. This is a good choice because the probability is low that that water is contaminated by chemical. However, if the water system is not fully operational, there is a risk for bacteriologic contamination, which means you need to disinfect it. Boiling is the best option as described in the FEMA video and the CDC website. However, if you are limited on fuel for boiling water, you can disinfect water with chlorine. I realize you might be hesitant to add a household cleaning chemical to your water before drinking it, but I want to assure you that if it's done correctly, it is safe. Adding chlorine to water is part of your water utility's normal operation, as it is worldwide. Adding chlorine to drinking water supplies is perhaps one of the most profound advancements to public health in terms of controlling diseases within the community. What I'll do first is I will read the instructions from the CDC website on how to conduct emergency disinfection of your drinking water. Second, I'll show you the tables that are referred to in these written instructions and explain how they're used. Third, I'll add some additional information for you to consider as you conduct the disinfection process yourself. And finally, I will demonstrate the entire process for you on this video as well. Okay, reading from the CDC website on disinfecting water with unscented household liquid chlorine bleach. If the water is cloudy, filter it with a clean cloth, paper towel, coffee filter, or allow it to settle. Draw off the clear water. Follow the instructions for disinfecting drinking water that are written on the label of the bleach container, if it's available. If the necessary instructions are not given, check the active ingredient part of the label to find the sodium hypochlorite percentage, and use that information in the following tables as a guide, and I will show you those tables later. Typically, unscented household liquid chlorine bleach in the United States will be between 5 and 9% sodium hypochlorite, though concentrations can be different in other countries. Using the table below, which I'll show you later, add the appropriate amount of bleach using a medicine dropper, teaspoon, or a metric measurement device measuring in milliliters. Stir the mixture well. Let it stand for 30 minutes before you use it for drinking. Store the disinfectant water in clean, sanitized container with tight lids. This is the CDC website, and these are the tables that I referenced earlier. Note up here the website address. There are two tables. One is for a concentration between 5 and 9% sodium hypochlorite, and you find that on the active ingredient table on the label of the bleach bottle that you have. And the bottom one is for 1% concentration of sodium hypochlorite. The way these tables are arranged is they have the volume of water that's going to be treated. So you have 1 liter or 1 quart, 1 gallon, and 5 gallons. Then the next 3 rows, you pick one row and you only use one row at a time. It's a choice. You either use this row, or that row. So if you have a dropper, you would pick this row. So if you had 1 liter of water, you would add 2 drops of bleach. If you had 1 gallon of water, you would add 8 drops of bleach. 5 gallons, 40 drops. Now, if you didn't have a dropper, but you had a way to measure milliliters, then you would measure the milliliters. 0.1 milliliters for 1 liter, half milliliter for 1 gallon, 2.5 milliliters for 5 gallons. And the same is true for the teaspoons. The bottom table is for the 1% sodium hypochlorite, and it is exactly the same arrangement. The only difference is the number of drops, number of milliliters, and teaspoons are increased because this is a lot more diluted, so you have to add more in order to reach the desired concentration. And now for some additional information that goes beyond the CDC written instructions. And this is regarding the type of sodium hypochlorite solution or bleach that you're going to use. After the 2012 Hurricane Sandy disaster on the east coast of the United States, Clorox, one of the major producers of household bleach, posted information about emergency disinfection of drinking water using their products. They identified 2 products that could be used, and they are Clorox Disinfecting Bleach and Clorox Germicidal Bleach. And they specifically identified products that you should not use, and those products are any bleach that is scented, just like what the CDC says, and also any product that is thickened. And let me tell you what that is. If you look here, this is the product that Clorox indicated that you could use, the Clorox Disinfecting Bleach. So this is what we want to use. Here's something that looks very, very similar, and so you need to pay attention. This is no splash formula, Clorox. So what they do with no splash or low splash is they thicken it. So it's very slimy. It's like syrup that comes out of the container. The purpose of that is a safety feature, so it doesn't splash and get on furniture or people's eyes or things like that. So it's a safety feature. But they introduce a chemical that produces those qualities. And that chemical is something that you don't want in your drinking water. So you need to exclude that too. All right, we're ready to disinfect. Now, we found the chemical that we're going to use. And this particular product is between 5 and 9% sodium hypochlorite. It is not scented. It is not thickened. It is not a low splash or no splash formulation. This is sodium hypochlorite solution and is a product that Clorox themselves identified as something that could be used for emergency disinfection. So that's the type of product you want to use. Now, according to the CDC website, what I need is 8 drops of this product into 1 gallon of water. I have an eyedropper here that's ideal for that kind of application, and in this particular eyedropper it has measurements on there, and I could measure milliliters if I wanted. If you don't have an eyedropper, you can get a flexible container with a tight-fitting lid and a small orifice. You'll have to practice to get 1 drop at a time to develop and drop off, and I would practice before you put it into your water, because I know you've probably been waiting for this water for hours for the day. So that's something you want to practice if you don't have an eyedropper. Now, according to the CDC tables, for 1 gallon, I need 8 drops. This here is 1/2 gallon, so I need to reduce the dosage in half. So rather than 8 drops, I will use 4. So I open up the product, use my eyedropper, draw the product up, count the drops, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, once you add the product into the water, you need to mix it really well. You cannot overmix this. You want to get the chemical distributed throughout the entire water column in your container. Once it's well mixed, you need to allow the chemical to work for 30 minutes to achieve the full disinfection effect. So allow it to sit for 30 minutes. Now, this particular container of water, I know is free from bacteriologic contamination, but what I want to do is I want to take a drink and let you know what I think of this mixture. So let me take a drink. The water tastes good. This is the type of water that I would expect in the distribution system of my water utility that provides water to 500,000 people. There is a slight chlorine taste, very slight odor, and you do want to experience that. If you do not taste chlorine or not smell chlorine, what might be happening is the chemical is oxidizing something in the water and you need to add more chemical. In fact, the Clorox website suggests to redose, in that case, the exact same amount that you did originally. Thank you very much for watching. Daghang salamat sa pagtanaw. Pag-amping kanunay and God bless. I wish you the very best.